Hello, today's topic is why is AgileWiki any different from any of the other attempts that have been made to replace our existing software stack. I mean, it's fairly well known in some circles that we've got problems. You want to put together an application, you've got JavaScript, you've got Comet, you've got jQuery, you've got web server, you've got application server, you've got relation database, and that's quite a handful. Putting that all together, there's fortunately tools now that make it a lot easier. One important one, of course, being the object relational mapping, which is fairly new. But the problem is, as soon as you try to scale something up, it doesn't. Relational databases, at least in theory, can scale to maybe 100 machines. This doesn't get you to Web 2.0. If you look at the various Web 2.0 applications that have been out there, they're all very custom made. You decide on your data structures, you then create an architecture that will support them in the kind of scale that you need. And you're not talking about anything very fluid. And if you start thinking about Web 3.0 kind of things, where you've got participation of a large number of different parties, all contributing and interacting in interesting ways, well, with current technology right now, it's pretty much a pipe dream. Web 2.0 is pretty much Dark Ages type stuff. It's really black art, and there's just problems. There's problems with the kind of future we want to go to with the tools that we have. And the problem is largely a problem in the area of theory. We've got a few tools. I mean, theory is so important. Look what we have to deal with data. We have a good understanding of data. We have relational databases, which are absolutely marvelous when it comes to working with a certain amount of data. We've got tools then to, like I mentioned before, to map objects into relational data structures. And we can do, anything that is reasonably close to data is not an issue. We've got this wonderful theory. We've got a nice hammer, and in today's practice, everything is a nail. Objects help. Objects add a certain amount of richness, but this poor hammer is just not very good with screws or other things. We need some more tools in our toolbox. And that's what makes AgileWiki different. We have a new tool. That is Role-Lonic theory, which was developed by Norm Kashdan. Norm is a good friend of mine. I mentored under him for a number of years. He's 2 years older than I am, and to put it politically correct. And he spent, maybe 20 years now working on and refining his Role-Lonic theory. And if I can borrow his story, he's put together it's kind of like combining a tank and a scooter and some skis. You end up with a snowmobile. There's nothing new there in terms of the parts. It's more of an original assemblage and a unique application, and it just does things that nothing else can. And that's kind of like what Norm has done with Role-Lonic theory. He's borrowed a lot of different philosophies and ideas, not all of them reputable, but let's take one idea that isn't in good repute with modern philosophers. this idea of ontological invocation, abracadabra, as it were. You know, if I can name something, if I define it really well, it comes into being. Not a reputable philosophy, but you know, it very nicely describes software. It's what programmers do. So what Norm has done is he's combined a lot of different ideas into something that works very nicely. It's a complete system of ideas. A system is, there's an interesting term. You know, we have the theory of systems, which has a well-known failure. It doesn't work with systems of systems. Norm's theory of Rolonics does. So it's extraordinarily powerful, and we use Rolonics in AgileWiki throughout. It's a new way of thinking about things, just as object-oriented was a new way to think about things in the 80s. This idea of combining logic and data, making the data local to the logic, or the logic local to the data. It's revolutionary. And this is the key to why we are willing to attempt and have achieved so many things which would otherwise be beyond the state of the art. So I have to give enormous credit to Norm, who I call the father of Rolonics. Thank you.